Now that you're out of college, you may have realized that it is kind of difficult to make friends as an adult. And even if you've made a few friends here and there, that actually establishing good relationships with them is also a challenge. Let's have a real talk about making friends as an adult and some of the friend making strategies that I'm planning to implement to attract the people that I want in my life and have a nice little friend group going on in the new city that I live in. Before we get started, I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Joy and I make videos to help you navigate your 20s more confidently. If you're interested in videos like this, make sure you subscribe down below. Also, if you are having trouble making friends or if you've made friends and have some tips, leave a comment down below. We can all help each other. So first things first, let's just talk about some learnings and observations I've made now that I've been out of college almost 3 years about making friends post-grad. So first things first is super obvious, but your college friends may not be your adult friend group, especially if you went away for college or you and your college friends all went off in different directions, like grad school, starting work, moving across the country. There's so many different things that happen post-college that can put a strain on friendships and basically cause some of them to fizzle out. People get in relationships, people stop affiliating with some of the people in your friend group, therefore it kind of spreads out to everyone else. There are so many reasons why your college friends might not be your friends anymore, or you just might not be as close with them. And don't freak out if this is happening to you, because it's normal and there's nothing wrong with you as a person. It's just the phases of life. Kind of think about when you left high school to go to college. You're not friends with every single person you went to high school with anymore. And same as going from college to adulting. You might not be friends with every single person. But the people that you are still friends with, I encourage you to continue to maintain those relationships and continue to keep those friendships up. Another big thing that I realize are that some friends are only for seasons or friends are for different reasons. So I was proud of myself for making that little line. But when I say friends are for different seasons, it may mean that a friend is just for a part of your life, not for your whole life. So going back to having friends in college, it might be that those friends were just meant to be there for you in college and get you through the ups and downs of college. And then after that, that's where the friendship comes to a close. And it doesn't mean that you guys had to have like a big falling out or fight. It just means that like that season is closing, so you're entering a new season of your life. And you're going to need to have new people around you to support you through this new phase of your life. So some friends are just for a season. And when I say some friends are for different reasons, this means that when you're an adult, you kind of have different personas. You have your work self, you have your how you act when you're with your family, you might have hobbies outside of work, etc., etc. And with those different personas and kind of interests that you might have different friends for each of those things. So you might have friends for Pilates, and those are your Pilates girls, and y'all don't ever go for drinks. You might have your friends that you go out to bars or clubs with, and those are your girls for going out, but you're not going to a networking event with them, point blank period. And you might have your all-around friend where you can Millie rock on any block with that friend. So there are going to be friends that you have for different reasons. And in college, I feel like you had your group of friends and you guys did everything together. You want to go to the dining hall, bet. Let's join a club together, bet. It's just a different ball game, so your friends are going to be there for different reasons. And if you can understand this, I think it will make making friends and thinking about your relationships with people a lot easier, because you'll understand that, hey, this person is here for me whenever I want to have a wine and charcuterie night, and I can depend on them for that. So if I go to ask them to do something else, like go on a trip, if they say no, that's not the reason that we have this relationship. And I think, especially at the beginning of friendships, this has been true for me. And if it has been for you, let me know in the comments, because I'm speaking off of personal experience. And the last realization I wanted to get into before we actually talk about tips for making friends is that not everyone is going to be your best friend. So I feel like in elementary through high school and even college, the concept of best friend is emphasized so much. Oh, are they your best friend? Like, you get asked in like elementary, middle school, high school, they're my best friend, they're my ride or die. And you kind of have this friend that you do everything with, and they know everything about you, and you've been friends for years. And you kind of expect everyone to show up as your best friend eventually. And as an adult, not everyone's gonna be your best friend, and most likely it's gonna be super rare that you actually make a new best friend. And I think it's just going back to like the context of things. You're not spending as much time with people. You might live super far away from people. They have other lives, they have relationships, family, etc. That it's gonna be more challenging to make a best friend. That doesn't mean it's impossible. I'm just saying, if you have a best friend, cling on to them and continue to nurture that relationship, because it might be a while until another one comes around. But just because people aren't gonna be your best friend does not mean that you can't be friends, does not mean that you can't be acquaintances. That's not what that means. It just means maybe you don't have the expectation that everyone you meet is going to show up as a best friend for you. Okay, so here's the fun part. Let's get into some strategies and tips on how to make friends as an adult. Such a weird concept to say like strategies and tips, because I feel like previously your life is set up to make friends. You go to school, you're with people for 8 hours a day, even more if you're in a club or extracurricular. So you're forced to make friends, and then you can continue to nurture those friendships because you're with them every day. That's not the case anymore. So you kind of have to be a little savvy if you want to make friends, because I think especially after college, everyone's a little bit nervous about putting themselves out there and making friends. So if you can extend yourself a little bit, I feel like the relationships will nurture and you'll find some gems. It's kind of like dating. Like, not everyone's gonna be a gem, not everyone's gonna continue on, but it's worth the effort. So my favorite tip is thinking about what your interests are and finding people with similar interests. Similar interests is like the easiest way to connect with people. So think about what hobbies and side hustles or any like interests you have, and try to find events, meetups, anything about those interests. So for example, I am a content creator, so one of my entryways to making new friends is trying to find other influencers and content creators that I can connect with, because it's just super easy to do things together. When we go out to eat, we all have our cameras out and it's not weird. When we want to take pictures, we can take pictures of each other. Like, it's just a nice symbiotic relationship because we kind of understand what each other are going through. So I would definitely lean in on your interests. Think about if you like did a sport or activity in high school or college, can you continue to do that as an adult? You can like join a running club, you could go to the gym and meet friends. Like, I think going off your interests is like one of my #1 tips, because it makes starting the relationship and kicking things off so much easier because you actually have something to talk about. Another tip is kind of making friends through education and learning. So if there's any skills that you've ever wanted to learn, say you wanted to learn how to cook, say you wanted to learn how to code, of course you can learn those things online through YouTube videos, but you can also make it a social thing as well by finding classes in person in your city. So if you're interested in cooking, like I said, instead of going on YouTube and watching a cooking class, actually go to one in person, buy like a package of multiple classes, and try to talk to the people that are there and start to build relationships with them. I want to pause before I give any more tips, because I think one thing that's important to say is you can't just expect to show up and automatically make friends. I think you have to really start conversations with people, get to know them, ask a few questions about them, and immediately ask for their Instagram or their phone number, or figure out if they're gonna be at the same event or class in the future. You wanna continue the relationship and really put yourself out there. You might get nervous about this, but this is literally how you turn meeting someone into your friend. You have to actually have a way to contact them and keep the conversation going beyond just like saying hi, how you're doing at the event. So just going to these things is not enough. You actually have to kind of keep the relationship going. Another way you can make friends is by going to conferences. So a lot of professional trades have conferences, or if you're in a sorority or fraternity, there are conferences for that. There's conferences for literally everything. So you can go to a conference of an interest of yours or a convention, and you can meet people through that by going to like the different workshops, by going to different booths and different things like that. So if you have an interest, see if there's a convention or conference for it and start attending those. You don't have to go super big. You can see if there's small meetups in your city and go to those. Another way to make friends is through your religion or faith. So if you are someone who has a background in faith, you can go to religious services or meetups and continue to build relationships like that. My last tip is to make friends of your friends. So ask your friends to invite you to different things they're having. If your friend invites you out to drinks, say, hey, do you have anyone else that you think I would like that you can invite? Instead of just doing things one-on-one, do things in group settings, and then you can both invite people and start to build relationships with each other's friends. So if you're feeling like it's super hard to make friends, you are not alone. Just know that it's going to take time. It's not gonna happen overnight, and you really need to put yourself out there to see the results that you wanna see. But I believe in you, and I know that you are going to make a new friend this year, and it's gonna be amazing. In the meantime, if you're really struggling and feeling lonely, like you don't have anyone, don't forget that you have family, you have your close friends from the past that you can lean on to support you and feel social still, and just have people to be there for you while you're in this process of making new friends. So don't write off your family because they can be there for you to help you feel less lonely in this time. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye. I hope this video is helpful. If you're interested in more videos to help you navigate your 20s and adulting more confidently, make sure you subscribe to this channel and leave me a comment. Leave me a comment. I'm super interested to see if you all have any tips for each other for making friends this year.